Thank you. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Stop. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. What's up, guys? Yes, we're finally here with the season finale of my series of talking about Twilight. I'm not gonna lie, part of me is really sad that after this I have to shut up about the series. I probably won't, I won't. But I won't be as intense about it. I won't do full on videos about it, so don't cry for me, Marge and Tina. Okay, so I think we can just get into it. I'm gonna be honest, for this one, I think because it's the last one, I think I'm really just gonna talk from the heart. So I don't have a full planned script, so this might take a while. It won't. I'm not going to talk about Breaking Dawn in two parts like they did with this, which I'm actually kind of grateful. I'm grateful that Breaking Dawn was split into two parts. Oh, by the way, we're talking about Breaking Dawn today. We're gonna be talking about both movies as if they were one. Okay, so should I even do like a synopsis? Okay, I mean, it's gonna be very short, but like, here you go. So they finally get married, and obviously Jacob is upset, but there's nothing they can do about that. They honeymoon on Isle Esme, which is apparently a gift from Carlisle. Yeah, they're just out here gifting islands. But while they are on honeymoon, Bella falls pregnant, which in itself is a medical miracle, but we'll get to that when we get to that. They race home to get rid of the problem, but Bella puts up a bit of a fight with Rosalie backing her up because she wants to keep the baby. The pregnancy, however, is pretty rough. Bella actually might not make it. The baby's literally killing her. But she's hoping to carry the baby to full term, and then Carlisle can change her at the last second. It's risky, but she's willing to fight it out for her little nudger, as she calls it. The wolves are getting antsy because they're not even really sure of what it is that is growing inside of Bella, understandably. But Bella has the baby, and unfortunately, she is killed in the process of birthing the child. So she's basically dead for a few seconds, but Edward injects and bites her with venom. Bites her with venom? What? He bites her, filling her with his venom. But the wolves think Bella was killed, so they try to attack the Cullens, but Jacob defends them because he has imprinted on the baby Renesmee. That's the end of part 1. So part 2 opens with Bella finally as a vampire. Love to see it. Love both the lash and hair extensions. And things are going good for a while. She even manages to tell Charlie what's up without actually telling Charlie what's up, without getting him in actual danger of knowing what or who she is. One of their cousins sees Renesmee and assumes that she's an immortal child. An immortal child is basically a vampire child, and they're strictly forbidden in the vampire community. And this cousin goes and tells the Valtteri. Alice sees a vision of the Valtteri coming as a result of this and tells the family, the Cullens, to get witnesses together as a defense against the Valtteri, and then her and Jasper just dip. But she comes back in time for the big standoff between the Valtteri and the Cullens and the little all-star team, and kickstarts a whole fight scene. And it's brutal. It's quite amazing. Faves are dying left and right, getting killed in the most brutal of ways. But it turns out it was just a vision that Alice was showing Aero of his path in life if he decides to keep hounding the Cullens. So the Valtteri decide to leave it as it is, and that's their little happy ending. And they fade out on Renesmee, Bella, Edward, and Jacob to pop etceteras speak up. Chef's kiss. And then they just have one extra bonus scene of us seeing Bella and Edward in their little meadow for the last time, just sharing their last little words with each other, and Bella's new gift of shielding, where she can, if she stretches her shield out beyond Edward, she can show him her thoughts finally, and that's just like a really one last monumental moment between the two of them, and then they just continue on into their little piece of forever. And that's actually the last line in the book, which is quite beautiful, I think. And yeah, that's basically it. That's both movies in a nutshell. I actually elaborated on this more than I wanted to, but I don't know, it's a fun time. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, which I'm really thankful for. But a lot happens, like we have very monumental parts in these two movies. Not to mention our fave, Renaissance. Let's start off talking about the wedding. Listen, I'm not someone who, okay, I will admit, when I was younger, I fantasized about what my wedding would look like. And I mean, I still do, just for the fact that it's really pretty and it's a nice event to host, and finding the love of your life and this being a beautiful day, your family celebrating this with you is a beautiful idea to me. But it's just the concept of being with someone for the rest of your life is very daunting now that I'm older. But the point that I'm trying to make is that if I were to get married, like I'm sure a lot of twihards feel, this is what I want my wedding to look like. Like, I'm not kidding. Oh wow, it's just chef's kiss. Like, I mean, the dress is so top tier, the shoes, the decor, the location. Like, they have it at the Cullen's house, and like in the front yard and in the backyard. It's so beautiful, and it's just so fitting for the, it's just like, you know. And they probably went about planning this wedding. Like, it wasn't like something like just like, oh, let's just like throw a wedding for the sake of design. No, you can see that they really put some thought and some effort into this event, you know. We're making Alice Cullen proud, and I love to see it. This speech also Edward makes, oh my gosh. If someone, wow, where he's like, to my beautiful bride, no amount of time with you will be long enough, but let's start with forever, Mother Earth. When I did watch it the first time, I was like, damn, so this is what a real man looks like. It was really very beautiful. Like, I was a very big fan. Like, they just go to an island, just an island that apparently Carlisle gave to Esme as like a gift. How much money you think the Cullens got? I think they got some old money, but that's probably just because they're old. Apparently how they make their money, how they make such big bucks with only one person working, and Carlisle's literally just a doctor in this kind of crappy small town. I think I toned it down a little bit. I mean, if you do have money, apparently how they make the money is that Alice can tell when the market is gonna be good, and then they buy stocks or whatever. I don't know how trading works, but that's how they make their money. But I'm like, okay, cool, but don't make anyone suspicious. Who's gonna prove that? But still, just don't let anyone get too suspicious about how you make your money. Yeah, so they go to this island. She's pregnant. She's found to be pregnant. Now listen. Of what I understand of this universe, what I understand of the vampires is that they are not alive. They don't have blood. They don't have tears, which is one thing that's really specific in the books. You don't have sweat. And I'm guessing you don't have semen. I'm just... if nothing else works, how would you... Also, to get an erection, would you not need blood for that? Like, even before you do anything, would you not need blood to get things going? Like, I don't know. Anyway, the point is just that they leave the honeymoon early because Bella is now pregnant. And then she has the baby, and there's a whole divide on, like, everyone's agreement or wanting the baby, until eventually everyone is smitten with this baby before the baby is even born. And it's just the wolves that are against it. Now, I have nothing against Bella becoming a vampire. That's the whole point. That's the whole reason we're all here, and that was one of the things that we were expecting by the end of this book. If Bella didn't become a vampire by the end of the book or by the end of the movies, I think people would be very annoyed, because like, what was the point of any of this? But what I really, really, really wish they hadn't gone with was this baby. Guys, sue me. I still think things could have gone perfectly well without Renesmee. I don't think she was a necessary part of the story. Like, she is in the books. They do have this child in the books. That's why they leave early. That's why she's eventually turned into a vampire. But hear me out. Could Bella have not just become a vampire, but then the Volturi heard that she still wasn't, and they came anyway, squaring up because they believed that she wasn't a vampire yet, and then that way Alice would have still had the same vision, still would have seen that the Volturi is coming for them, and then they would have gotten all their witnesses together just so that the Volturi wouldn't destroy them. Because the whole point of the Volturi is the Volturi really wants the Cullen clan, because Arrow really wants Alice and Edward, and then in the end he also wants Bella. Could that not have been enough to propel the story forward? Like, why'd we have to settle for Chucky Esme? Okay, and then also my second thing is, hey, okay, they have this baby now. This baby is part of this story. Sure, fine. Why? Okay, why would they not have just gotten a baby? Like a proper baby. Like, why did it have to be a CGI'd baby? Like, I know Renesmee grows fast, and that's like one of the parts of her story. But could you not have gotten like maybe 4 young actresses to play this part? Because they got the girl who plays the older version, like the ultimate eventual grown version that we see at the very end of the movie. They got her, and then they just CGI'd her face, and then at one point they had like a doll, and then another point they just had a baby and they CGI'd the baby's face. Why could you just have not just gotten a baby? You're telling me that everyone who worked on the movie, not one person knew of a baby that they could just use for like just like 2 takes? Like, why did it? I just don't understand. And then for the rest of the movie, just use the girl that they used eventually at the fight scene, like at the battlefield or whatever. Why did it have to be the CGI, then this doll that looked like Chucky, and then like none of it looked real, none of it looked believable, and honestly it was offensive and it was insulting to the fandom, because are we dumb? Do we look dumb to you? Like, yeah, I mean, anything that they put out with these actors we would love, but why did it have to be so shitty? Like, y'all are really just thinking, they'll eat anything we put in front of them. Let's just give them a really freaky, weird looking baby, and they will be like, oh, none of us were going, oh, for that weird, freaky deaky looking, sleep paralysis looking baby. Like, I'm sure if they just didn't CGI their baby's face, that'd be fine. If they didn't have that doll, it would have been fine. We would have survived. That's why they did it so badly that in the end I was just like, you know what, we don't even need Renesmee in the story. But I mean, I'm glad that she was there, because I mean, she was a big part of the story eventually, and they did what they could with it. Bella as a vampire, love it. Okay, love to see it. She looks amazing. Also, the makeup artist in this Breaking Dawn was top tier, but I will admit, the person who did Jane's makeup, Dakota Fanning's makeup for the battle scene, you fell off, sis. Like, she had such an amazing smoky eye in like all the other movies we saw her, and then in the one scene where we were gonna see so much of her, and we like we were really focused on Jane, she had this weird looking cat eye thing, and it was kind of lopsided. Like, I didn't like it. They could have done a better job. They could have spent a little more time on her face. But the other actresses looked amazing. Like, their makeup, everything was just, oh, yeah, top tier. Maybe that's where their budget went to. Like, they couldn't afford to pay multiple actresses to play Renesmee because they threw all the money into the makeup, hair and makeup for everyone in Breaking Dawn Part 1 and 2. Because, like, they really got some big actors in there as well. I think they just, like, you know, sacrificed Renesmee's part because they were getting Rami Malek, that guy that's in everything, what, Vladimir and Vladimir and Stefano or something, that guy. They got that girl who's now in The Witcher, that lady that's now in The Witcher. I don't know, but they got a great cast of people to play the extra vampires, and I think that's one of the things that got people really excited about the second movie. Speaking of how unnecessary Renesmee was, let's talk about her and Jacob's relationship. Listen, remember when I spoke about Bella and how Kristen, by the way, I keep saying Kirsten, or is it Kristen? Is it Kirsten? Bella, how I spoke about how Bella was this weird, awkward, annoyingly timid character, and everyone was hating on Stuart for portraying her that way, and I came to her defense saying that she couldn't do much with it because that's how the character was written. So I feel like I have done Jacob and Taylor Lautner a great disservice because I came to Kristen Stewart's defense so quickly, whereas I was hating on Jacob without coming to his defense at all. So I think what I would like to my Jacob stans, I apologize. I do think that a lot of the things about Jacob that we hate was how Taylor Lautner was forced to portray him, and ultimately how the character of Jacob Black was written, which again is Stephenie Meyer's fault. The whole trope of imprinting, I don't know where she got this whole concept of imprinting from, but I don't think it portrayed those tribes in the best light. And also, what I also wanted to address was how, you know how in both the movies and the books, you're always in a position where you're like, can't the wolves get over it? Don't they see that the Cullens aren't like the other vampires and that they need to just get over what happened to them? Like, okay, I wasn't like, they need to get over it. I'm just like, come on guys, can't you see that the Cullens are better than the rest? They won't hurt you like the other vampires did in the past. And then I think I sat back and I was like, but why? Why should they just, submit to this alliance with a type of person or a type of creature? Why should they form these strong ties with people whose kind basically ruined and killed their people? I don't think it's fair that the characters of the wolves and the tribes are written so in a way where they're written as these childish, out of control, angry, aggressive, malicious creatures, literally creatures, wolves, rabid wolves, out of control of their temper and all of that. But the Cullens are written as these cool, composed, passive creatures, and I think that contrast, once you think about it, is very, very stark. And I think it's very unfair that they were written that way, and that it was so easy for us to side with the Cullens and kind of get annoyed with the wolves when it was the wolves who were wronged, and it's the Cullens that should be looking for atonement, which they do. But it's more where we're in the space where we're always like, the wolves need to just get over it. Whereas no, they don't have to get over it. They shouldn't be forced to get over anything. That Cullen's kind vampires killed their ancestors, and just now because the Cullens claim to only eat animals, that should not be enough for the wolves to suddenly want to be around them all the time and to completely forgive them. So I take back everything I said about Jacob. I do still feel like he shouldn't have kissed her. Why are you kissing people who do not give, why are you kissing people who don't want you to kiss them? That was wrong of Jacob himself in himself. He can't blame anyone for that. But this whole idea of imprinting as well as being this out of control animal, that was unfair of them to be written that way. I'm right by a water pump, so if I open my window, you'd hear that. And I'm under all these lights, and now I'm sweating, and also this hair, so my ears are literally on fire. So do you see how, in all aspects, Renesmee would not necessarily be missed? I mean, I guess she added like a sense of innocence and just this sense of urgency to protect themselves. I mean, it's the bond that Bella and Edward have with Renesmee and everyone else, like Emmett, Rosalie, that they all have with Renesmee is very beautiful, and I think that's something that fulfilled some kind of need in all of us to see Bella. I think in a way Edward eventually made us want this conventional life for Bella, and when she's now married to Edward and she now has this child that is their biological child. I think in a way that kind of, you know, made it come full circle, which also in another way is like, why does everything feel complete now that they are this nuclear family? I don't know. My point just is that Renesmee wasn't a necessary part for the story. Let's just be honest. She wasn't needed for the story to progress. I think I'm repeating this the whole time. But with regards to Rosalie was over the freaking moon, and everyone was hating on Rosalie because they were like, oh, she's two-faced. Only now that Bella's fulfilling all her wishes and dreams and having a baby is she on Bella's side. No, I think that, yeah, I mean, sure, she's excited to have this baby around, and that's fine. That would you not want someone around you who's happy about the child that you're about to give birth to? So I don't think that it's, you know, two-faced of Rosalie to step in when Bella needed her the most. Now the fight scene. Y'all. I can tell you the fight scene was not in the books, and I think that's why everyone was taken aback by it the way they were. And for Carlisle to be the first to go, I was ready to fight as soon as I saw that. Hey, yeah, I think why they put that in there was just to fulfill this everyone's need and desire for this big fight, because there is this huge build up to where they finally at the battlefield. I think they knew that people would be upset that when they finally got to this monumental battlefield scene, that if there wasn't a fight, I think people would be kind of annoyed, because then they would be like, but that was too easy. I mean, it does end and everything is too easy in the end, but I think that it just, you know, it just gave us a little taste, man. It just satisfied that part of us that wanted this bloodbath. With regards to the acting, I just would like to say that I think that with the last two movies, everyone, I feel like, just gave in and were like, we are making big bag of this movie no matter what. Let's just put our all into it. It wasn't terrible acting. It's just that you could see that none of them were holding back. If you compare the acting styles of Esme, Bella, Edward, I call them by their character names because I call them by their character names. When you compare their acting styles in the first movie and this last movie, you will see that in the first movie they're kind of awkward because they're like, this is a really weird movie for like teen girls, we don't know how it's gonna go. They're very apprehensive. But in the last movie, I feel like they just threw all caution into the wind and they were like, we are doing this and we are making money off it, y'all, so you might as well enjoy it. So I think they really just like gave their all to it, and I think by that point they must have been very passionate about the movie. The part that always makes me laugh the most is when Carlisle is killed and Otto, what do you guys say? I say Otto. When Otto is holding Carlisle's head and then Esme goes like, it's not funny, but it is a way, like, because like that part is like silent, like muted, like the sound effects are muted, and then it's just this orchestra playing. And it's just like going. I'm sorry. But I am thankful for the acting style in the final movie because they really just went all in. They were just like, fuck it. They're gonna love this regardless. Because I think they were confident in the support that they had from the fans by that point. They would have had to be. Anyway. If I find that there's enough things that I didn't cover, I will make another video where I will just tie up a few loose ends. Speaking of loose ends, one more thing I just wanted to say was, you know, when you felt the need to be close to me while you were pregnant, that was Renesmee. And before you were even pregnant, wanting to be near me, that was Renesmee. So you're telling me we're wanting to be close to you? Like, this is the hill I will die on. I saw this somewhere. Someone was like, couldn't Jacob just have seen her about to kill her? And then he realized in his mind, he's like, I'm about to kill a baby. And that's when he pulled himself back and he was like, no, let me rather protect this baby. Because this is so far from who I really am, killing a child. I could never do that. Let me rather protect this baby. And that's how their bond is formed. Why did it have to be this weird... thoughts on this? So yeah, if you like this video and you would like to see more like it, like this video, subscribe, leave a comment, any kind of comment, because all feedback is good feedback. And I'll see you when I see you.